Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Wednesday, July 19th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. We are looking at Earthquake 3D, and we're currently zoomed in on Japan. A magnitude 5.8 quake has just struck there in central Japan. That is actually the Honshu region of Japan. The southern tip down here is called Kyushu, and this area up here is called Honshu. I'm not really sure what the different designations are, but there you have it. Anyway, magnitude 5.8 quake. Let's just for the fun of it, let's take a look at the large quakes. Let's say magnitude 5.0 and greater over the last week. Okay, let me take these 4.9s off here. 4.9 is still mighty close to 5. Okay, look at this. This is the last 7 days, folks. 5.0 and greater worldwide. Pretty impressive. And also keep in mind, just over a week ago, I guess at this point, we had the magnitude 6.0 out here at Yellowstone. So we do actually have one in the last, just over a week, I guess you'd say. So we do have one there, but that's the only one in the United States. It is curious how the U.S. seems to escape most of the punishment as far as pressure moving from place to place across the globe. As you can see, South America has had a number of quakes, as has the entire Ring of Fire from Alaska, well, the Aleutian Islands in this case, all the way down. So we've had a ton of activity, and we've got another magnitude 6.0 in this area over here in the Indian Ocean. So, we're looking at quite a bit of heavy activity right now. Anyway, let's keep the earthquake update short and move on to the headlines. Minnesota, Somali police officer refuses to give a statement to investigators. Having followed several very high-profile police shootings closely, the same undisclosed media elements are present. And just so you know what we're talking about here, this is the case of Dr. Justine Damon, who is a holistic doctor or healer, and she was apparently shot by this officer named Mohammed Noor, originally from Somalia, it says. So that's what they're talking about there. Democrat senators declined to condemn Women's March for supporting terrorists. That's on the Daily Caller. A poll says just 6% of Americans say Russia's story is important. Despite the deluge from mainstream media, nobody cares. Huge increase in female genital mutilation in Germany. Gee, I wonder why. Killer cop Mohammed Noor was a diversity hire. Minneapolis makes special effort to recruit Somalis. And now a woman is dead because of it. France's armed forces chief resigns after clash with Macron over budget cuts. Top general accuses Macron of borderline Erdoganism. Well, he is a lot like Erdogan. They're both totalitarian dictators, or certainly globalist wannabes, for sure, globalist puppets, I guess you'd say. Qatar and Saudi Arabia to Islamize one of Europe's greatest cathedrals. Jihadists consistently seek to convert Christian sites to Islamic ones. That's the Gatestone Institute. Well, that's what Islam does. It takes over. And that's what it is meant to do. That's what it was designed to do, is take over. Seth Rich. What happened to the surveillance footage of FBI vehicle break-in? DC police and FBI cover-up of Seth Rich murder continues. AI is humanity's #1 threat. Rapidly advancing technology could end up hurting humanity more than helping. That's what it was designed to do. Hurt humanity. Mainstream media says Trump meeting with Putin at G20 is sinister. Normal political activity is now being spun by the media. Well, they always spin stuff like this, but, if you were talking about Obama, if Obama was meeting with Putin, would that be called sinister? Globalists have seized control of Fox News after passing of Roger Ailes. Fox has been overrun. Yeah, well, no kidding, but Fox has never really been that great in my opinion. Acid attacks plague London. What's really happening? The clash of cultures taking place in London is causing extreme tension. You don't say. Well, that's what happens when you drop your borders and let anybody and everybody come across them. 1,000 migrants attacked Germantown fair. The integration of Muslims into German society continues to cause trouble. And why tourism is collapsing in Europe. Dangerous climate keeping tourists from visiting many European countries. And also see previous headline. We're talking about the Muslim takeover of Europe. That's why tourism's collapsing. How Big Pharma hides vaccine deaths. Adverse reactions can and do include death thanks to additives put in vaccines. This is from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah, it's not just the adjuvants, though. It's everything that's in vaccines. And you can read the insert. And if you read the insert, usually one of the side effects is death. Loopy Louise Mensch claims Steve Bannon could be executed for treason. Roger Stone's epic speech for Bundy political prisoners. The federal government continues to harass patriotic Americans. Charlie Gard and his parents given U.S. citizenship to fly him to America for treatment. This is on Life News. Charlie's parents and his hospital are involved in an ongoing legal battle over his medical care. Fake GOP voted repeal when Obama would veto, now change their vote. Establishment Republicans continue with attempts to derail the Trump administration. I don't think it's just about the Trump administration, though. They're actually globalists. They want Obamacare. U.S. Postal Service broke the law in allowing workers to boost Clinton campaign, a watchdog says. OSC determined the USPS engaged in systemic violations of the Hatch Act. InfoWars teaches private security a lesson. Rent-a-cops try and kick reporter off sidewalk only to get a lesson in free speech. YouTube censors video for criticizing CNN. Mark Dice's video labeled misleading and removed by Google-owned company. Well, you know you're on the right track when you get the government seal of approval program kicking in, and it certainly sounds like that's what happened with Mark Dice's video. That means everyone should go watch it. Medical tyranny through crony capitalism. Globalist politicians have sold out America to corporations. Indeed they have. Sessions plan to expand slavery and government theft. This is by David Knight, talking about civil asset forfeiture is going to expand under Attorney General Sessions. That is some bad news right there. Forced to work until you're 68. State pension age rise brought forward 7 years. This is on the Express UK. Official retirement age in the UK is now due to rise to 68 by 2039. I like how they put these arbitrary dates out there in the future, like everything will be fine until then, 22 years from now in this case. I don't think we're going to be around 22 more years from now, folks. I really don't. I mean, we've got geoengineering programs that are completely devastating the Earth's ecosystem. 22 more years is an awfully long time. We're turning into Venus, let alone worried about the official retirement age here. Seems a little strange to me to even be talking about it, but there you go. Cancer in the water. Learn more about a toxic chemical being found in drinking water throughout America. And let me guess, no filter will remove it. Just guessing, of course. Trump attacks report of private G20 conversation with Putin. Fake news story of secret dinner with Putin is, quote, sick, Trump said. Russian lawyer who met Trump Jr. says ready to testify to Congress. Veselnitskaya has previously said she's a private lawyer and has no ties to the Kremlin. Ethereum co-founder says crypto coin market is a time bomb. Startups have raised $1.3 billion through digital coin sales. Won't let myself be effed. Head of French military resigns over Macron's leadership. This is on the Daily Caller. Quote, I may be stupid, but I know when I'm being had. U.S. Supreme Court allows grandparents as family relationship under travel ban. Grandparents included in definition of close family members. That's on RT. Wall Street efforts to improve its image fail to sway Americans. Most Americans hold an unfavorable view of Wall Street banks and corporate executives. Yeah, well, rightfully so. Japanese robot probes radioactive water at Fukushima's nuclear reactor to find melted fuel. Robot has been sent inside Japan's crippled Fukushima nuclear plant to find fuel. Yeah, well, it's just a matter of time then until it melts or quits functioning. It seems to be what happens time and time again. Every time they send some robot in there, it just stops working due to the massive radiation in that place. LA sees 60% jump in deportation cases under Trump. The pendulum has now swung to the opposite side under Trump, and deportation cases are full steam ahead. That's on Breitbart. And from the Hill, Dems desperate for candidates to turn Texas blue. Recent voting patterns give Democrats new hope. Trump shuts down CIA program to arm Syrian rebels, according to a report. A victory for Russia, which has called for the move for years. It's on the Hill. Fake GOP using Obamacare as weapon against Trump. Establishment Republicans playing both sides of the fence. Yeah, but they really only care about the globalist side of the fence. Self-driving cars get boost with unanimous vote by House panel. Congress took the first step toward setting rules for self-driving cars, or as I call them, self-crashing cars. Hiding vaccine-related deaths with semantic sleight of hand. Doctors who naively accept biased reports on vaccine safety are losing the trust of the public. That's from World Mercury Project. Facebook to launch subscription news service. According to reports, we want a subscription product. We want to be able to see a paywall in Facebook. That's on the Hill, like they're not making billions already. Yeah, like I'm going to watch Facebook's news subscription service. Give me a break. It's going to be like CNN all over again. Trump and CIA program arming Syrian rebels. Obama-era program saw U.S. weapons repeatedly reach jihadists. And you can't say that was an accident. That was definitely done on purpose. Watch live. Total proof Republicans lied about repealing Obamacare. No kidding. GOP establishment keeps Obamacare alive as Trump ends CIA program arming jihadists. North Korea holds public executions at schools and markets for prostitution and stealing electric cables. Russia unveils the future of warfare, and it's a fully automated combat module that can identify targets on its own. That's from shtfplan.com. Yeah, what can possibly go wrong with that? Have you seen the automated weapons systems like this? The automated robots that go around shooting things and shooting people? Have you seen those where they use the fuel, they use the victim, I should say, as fuel for the robot? So the robot shoots you and then eats you as fuel. Nice, huh? Is the EU on the brink of war with China over Germany's Deutsche Bank? That's on the Express. Galloway says Blair and millionaire friends will do anything to thwart Brexit miracle. Iran immediate warning. USA launches laser weapon tests in Persian Gulf. That's on the Express. Royal Navy square up to Chinese warships storming the English Channel. Troops braced for North Korea attack as Army drills 3 miles from the border. That's on the Express as well. CIA and massive file purge. Outrage as plot to destroy secret records revealed. That's on the Daily Star. Notorious Spanish banker found dead with shotgun blast to the chest. Busted. Flight attendant group reveals Ann Coulter was targeted on purpose in seat fiasco. That's from the Gateway Pundit. Rand Paul says bring Obamacare vote to the floor, then let Republicans go home and explain why they voted no. That's on the Gateway Pundit as well. Awful. Lunatic leftist Rosie O'Donnell promotes Trump-killing online game. Nice. Really classy, Rosie. Facebook abruptly blocks dozens of Catholic pages, accuses popular accounts of suspicious activities. U.S.-Russia diplomatic row. It's time for concessions or it will snowball. That's on Sputnik News. WikiLeaks releases CIA and Raytheon analysis of suspected Russian-Chinese malware. UK, Dutch, and Danish navies escort Chinese warships heading to the Baltic for drills with Russia. That's on RT. And from Zero Hedge, Obamacare fiasco likely means Trump will go winless in his first year in office. I'm not really sure what they're basing that on, but I think if you asked average Americans, they would say that Trump's had plenty of wins already. Secret government buries deep underground command centers 1 mile below. That's on the Daily Coin. Yeah, they're called DUMBs, Deep Underground Military Bases. And I know for a fact Timothy Alberino, who's a friend of mine, I'm proud to say, actually lost his entire YouTube channel primarily because of a video, an Alberino analysis, where he showcased information on deep underground military bases, and they took his channel down. No warning, no explanation, no nothing. They just took it down. From Greg Hunter on USAWatchdog.com, we are now into controlled demolition. Catherine Austin Fitz says, there is no argument for a big crash. The only question is when. And an X22 report, new report concludes the U.S. empire is collapsing. There's no question. Authorities describe frenzy of violence in MS-13 gang slaughters where victims were lured to a park by girls and hacked and beaten to death with machetes, knives, and clubs. 2 Clinton deaths on the same week prompts calls for investigation. United Nations published depopulation plan on their website. John Podesta helps pedophile Dennis Hastert get out of prison. Of course he does. He's one of them. They're both pedophiles. University study, this is from Utah University, all 3 buildings on 9/11 were controlled demolition. They absolutely were. There's no question. From Dave Hodges at the Common Sense Show, the moral of this story is to arm yourself and never call the cops. And TSA has new surprises for you when you fly. Airlines continue to abuse the public. Don't be fooled, the Federal Reserve will continue rate hikes despite crisis. That's from alt-market.com. Now Democrats aim their sights at Ivanka's security clearance, asking FBI whether she engaged in deception if she failed to reveal foreign contacts of Jared and her siblings. Trump invites senators to lunch to bring healthcare talks back from the dead, but behind the scenes he's completely out of patience with the effing, maddening Republicans who won't repeal Obamacare. Yeah, well, he's not the only one. So this headline's a little bit of a head-scratcher to me. CBS pushes gun control after Somali cop shoots white lady. You have several things at play here. I mean, you've got gun control, which of course CBS would be all for, and that's, I guess, probably the overriding concern of theirs. They want to see guns taken away from everyone, except the cops. They're okay with cops having guns, just no one else, at least for the moment anyway. But the fact that this white lady, who was a holistic doctor, was shot and killed, they would be okay with that because she's not a big pharma doctor. So that part of it was probably fine. And to top it all off, she was white, so she deserves to die. And then on the other side of this, you have a Somali cop who's a Muslim who did the shooting, and he was brought into the police force primarily because he was dark-skinned, apparently. And the fact that he's a Muslim is an added benefit for CBS. So you'd think here that they would, yeah, be pushing for gun control, but they would be okay with the murderous cop who happens to be a Muslim killing the white lady. So this headline's a little bit of a head-scratcher, but I guess the gun control thing takes priority over everything. Pentagon's own study proves U.S. empire is collapsing and war is the only option. Sounds like it's right out of the military-industrial complex owner's manual. Elon Musk, or as I call him, Eloy Morlock, nightmare looms. Army seeks Internet of Battlefield things with self-aware bot swarms. This is on Zero Hedge. You know, it's one of those things where if they're talking about this publicly, they already have it. And speaking of robots, sentient killer war robots could turn on humans and must not be unleashed on the battlefield, warns top U.S. general. This is part of what I was talking about earlier, where I said that they could kill a human and then eat it to consume it for energy. Humanity's chemical suicide confirmed. Pesticides sprayed on food crops are wiping out food pollinators, leading towards a global food collapse. That's on Natural News. And another report from Natural News, Mike Adams, Health Ranger calls out Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, and Dan Bongino for free market mistake that pushes pharma monopoly. Yeah, you don't like to see that. Obama officials going to jail for unmasking citizens. We'll see if that actually happens. Ghost control malware that can disguise itself as WhatsApp secretly films you and keeps recordings of your private calls and videos to ransom. Isn't that nice? Liberal Republican senators to block defunding Planned Parenthood in Obamacare repeal. That's on Breitbart. Let me read that one again. Liberal Republican senators to block defunding Planned Parenthood in Obamacare repeal. What part of that makes them Republicans? GOP and the Dems plotting Dream Act for illegal aliens. That's on Breitbart. Zombies are us. We the people are the walking dead of the American police state. Cynthia, the runaway flesh-eating bacteria, is claiming American lives. That's on the Daily Coin. And from the Free Thought Project, Creepy new smart toys allow pedophiles to track and talk directly to kids. From Natural News, the Olympics just abandoned all science, drops gender testing to allow men to compete as women in all events. Then what makes that the Olympics? As disease rates explode worldwide, getting diagnosed with cancer is now more common than having a baby. That's on Natural News. Post-Ebola syndrome is something else to keep you up at night. This video from Venezuela shows us society really does go Mad Max after a collapse. Learn how to survive superbug infections, pandemics, and prevent disease in the Immune Defense Summit, beginning in just a few days. That's on Natural News. Supreme Court allows strict enforcement of Trump refugee ban. That's on Zero Hedge. Boom, President Trump says Obamacare was a big, big lie. A lie? It was a lie by the president, and he knew it. Investigation into records of sexually abused foster kids ensnares Seattle mayor. Is your city survivable in a collapse, civil war, or natural disaster? That's from Natural News. And from the Gateway Pundit, and you paid for it. U.S. postal workers found guilty of campaigning for Hillary Clinton during work hours. I mentioned that one a little while ago. Here's how you can prepare over the next 6 months for economic crisis. That's on Survival Dan 101. New York State Police seize huge weapons stockpile at Islamic compound. Opponents of Venezuela's Maduro will launch final offensive on Thursday. That's on the New American. Breaking. Many elite headed to prison for child sex trafficking. Liz Crokin on the Common Sense Show with Dave Hodges. Okay, that's all for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching. Please like, share, and subscribe as always, and I will see you tomorrow.